Hello, I'm Mark Schlero, the owner of MS Classic Cars. Today I'm sitting behind the wheel of an absolutely beautiful and somewhat rare 1968 AMC AMX that's better known as the Famous AMX. I'd like to start off this video by saying this is non-rehearsed. Everything that I'm discussing with you here and now is information I've gathered about this vehicle. I'm sure I'm going to miss some of the important details, so I would highly recommend, if you're interested in purchasing this car, that you check it out on our website at msclassiccars.com. I've written a very detailed description that's very transparent, as I do with all the vehicles I sell. We provided great photography, as we always do, so you can see every square inch of this car. The photos are awesome. They're highly detailed. So again, if you're interested in this vehicle, please make sure to do that after you watch this video, if you haven't done it already. I'd like to mention also, if you've been following MS Classic Cars, you know that I only collect number 1, number 2 condition vehicles. Very proud of all the vehicles that we own. We do not do consignments. We're the only classic car dealership in the country who services every vehicle we sell, and we document that work with an invoice. So on this particular car right here, you'll notice in this beautiful binder that I got with the car, I normally do brand new binders. I organize everything in plastic sleeves. With this particular car, it already had a really nice binder. Everything was really organized, so I didn't have to do a lot of work. But you will see the first thing that I have here is the invoice of all the work that we've done. Classic cars all require a lot of work, regardless of how expensive they are. Most of the time, I would say 99.9% of the time, these cars require a lot of things to be done to get them sorted out so people can enjoy them. We take all of those surprises out of the equation when you're buying from us, and we list everything that's been done here, so when the new owner gets the vehicle, they can do nothing but enjoy it. So this invoice here will document that I have a total of $7,189.63 worth of work that was done to this vehicle. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about the story of this, because I think it's really important that everybody understands the story, and then I'll get into the presentation about the actual car itself. I'm going to read this from this section here off of my website that I included within this binder. From the information gathered, this 1968 AMC AMX was purchased in 1969 by 2 brothers brand new. Their intentions were to keep this car in pristine condition and never sell it. One of the brothers was in the military and sent to Vietnam a few months after he purchased the vehicle. Unfortunately, he died in Vietnam fighting for our country. The other brother kept the car for the next 36 years until his passing in 2005. As of the year 2000, he lived in Granville, Michigan, which we have documented with a receipt. During the time of ownership, he had the car professionally painted in its original color. That was again in 2000. The car was sold by the widow's brother in 2005 to a gentleman from Georgia. He's actually the gentleman that I purchased the car from. We'll refer to him as James. The car had 45,000 original miles at the time of the sale. So James is really the second owner of the vehicle. Because the vehicle was in the family, it was really a one-owner vehicle. When he acquired it, you could kind of refer to it as a two-owner vehicle. He enjoyed the car for the next 11 years, cherishing it, taking it to various shows, and getting a ton of exposure. He added a total of 7,775 miles on the car, and again, he's the one who deserves all the credit for making the car famous. In 2016, he decided to sell the car, and MS Classic Cars purchased it. I put the car through my service process and then immediately sold it to a gentleman who was a previous customer of mine. So we had gotten the car, this is going back in 2016, I believe it was April if I'm not mistaken. We had put it through our service department, we had detailed it. I actually had it sitting in the showroom. He was coming down here to actually look at another car. It was a 1969 Camaro Z28 that was yellow. It had white stripes, it was a beautiful car. When he came down here to look at the Camaro, he ended up buying that vehicle. He saw this vehicle and just fell in love with it. We made a deal and he bought it. So I never advertised this vehicle for sale. It was something that, again, I sold immediately to a previous customer. So during his time of ownership, and he lived in New Hampshire, he also cherished and enjoyed the car. He added a total of 544 miles on the car. In 2020, he decided to sell the car, and he contacted me to see if I'd be interested in buying the car back. Of course, I jumped on the opportunity. In September, MS Classic Cars purchased the vehicle with 53,316 original miles. Since MS Classic Cars, again, sold the car immediately the first time, this is really the first time we've ever listed it for sale. So that's kind of the story of the car, its history. It's a really cool story. You don't always get great stories with these classic cars. Sometimes the stories get lost over time, but this is a really cool story. So, getting back to the beginning of this here, I'm going to kind of go over some of the quick bullet points. This vehicle, the reason that I've named it the Famous AMX is because of all of its exposure. So we're going to flip forward to this binder here, which just goes over some of these details. It all started kind of around this 2007 time frame. During the time that the second owner had purchased the car, the gentleman I got the car from, he sent it to a gentleman in Ohio. And the gentleman he sent it to specialized in AMCs. He wanted to do the body once again. Although the car was painted, it was not really a high quality paint job. He didn't want to take the car completely apart. So his instructions were to repair some of the small rust that had developed on the rear quarters. And he basically wanted to give the car a show quality paint job, but he didn't want to mud up the car with a bunch of Bondo and stuff like that. So this particular gentleman did exactly what he asked. They made the decision, rather than patching up the rear quarters, they ordered brand new NOS quarters. They were not aftermarket. They put new quarters on the car, again, stripped it, repainted it, and they did an absolutely beautiful job. So that was the biggest thing that the second owner did to the car. And then he did some other things, which I'll go over as we kind of go through this presentation. But once the car was completely finished, here's a picture of the car with chip Foose. It says in 2007, this AMC, or AMX rather, was the only American Motors car to be included with a showing with designer chip Foose from the TV show Overhauling. So there's a picture of the second owner with chip Foose with this car, really cool. In 2009, Hilton Head Concours D Elegance, this AMC was honored to win Palmetto Award in the American Performance class. So it went to a Concours D Elegance, which it won. We have the awards that are included. In 2009, this AMX traveled to Nashville, Tennessee to be filmed on a Spike TV show Power Block, which to be included in the Muscle Car episode, which aired on April 2010. So again, this is pictures of the car when they were doing the whole entire video, which again was on Spike TV. Really cool. Bunch of stuff here that's included. There's another picture of the car in 2010. Again, it was at a Concours D Elegance. It won the award of distinction, which is included again with the car. There's another picture down here of a different Concours D Elegance at the Churchill Downs racetrack. That was in Louisville, Kentucky. That's actually pictured here as well. This is again probably my favorite part of the car. In 2011, the Boca Raton Concours D Elegance, where Jay Leno was selected as the host. He actually selected this car as the classic performance car, and then they included a video on his website at Jay Leno's Garage. So there's pictures of Jay Leno with the second owner, with the car in the background, tons of more pictures, which I think is really cool. Again, this car has gotten great exposure. And then he included a bunch of original advertisements on the car here, which are really great. There's some service bulletins in here, and then there's some receipts from the original owner that I had mentioned earlier that are also included. Everything is in date order. So again, all this information is included with the sale of the car, and it's really nice when you have all this stuff come with a car. So this car has done it all. It's been, you know, an award winner at very prestigious shows. It's been featured in magazines, featured in catalogs. It's been on TV. It's, you know, been all around. It's been with Foose. It's been with Jay Leno. This car has definitely made its rounds in a very, very special car. So getting into the presentation now about the condition of the car, all of the sheet metal on this vehicle is original again, with the exceptions of the rear quarters. Because they didn't, again, apply a ton of Bondo to this car and smooth it all out and everything else, it's a really straight car. When you look down, you know, the top sides of the fenders, or you catch the quarters at the right light, or you catch the hood, you might be able to see a few little things, but again, they wanted to keep the car original. So they did a great job on the body. Again, the doors, the hood, everything opens and closes beautifully. They gave it a show quality paint job. It's got these gorgeous racing stripes. The car's got a super, super nice look to it. Talking about the glass, this windshield has been replaced. There is a receipt that's in here. I believe the original owner is actually the one who had the windshield replaced, and the rest of the remaining glass is actually all original, and it's in absolutely beautiful condition. Everything else on the car was either restored or replaced when they did the paint work and so forth. And again, it's in beautiful condition. You will notice there's pictures in here of the car with the factory correct style wheel with red lines tires, and there's also another set of wheels and tires that are included with the vehicle that are more of a, I guess you refer to them as like a torque style Kreger wheel with BF Goodrich radial TAs on there as well. We've put both sizes of the tires and wheel combination within our description. I thought because the car looked the best with these particular wheels, we would leave these on, but the new owner can decide what they want to do. Again, this is the picture of the car with the original wheels, and then there's pictures that are provided in here, like this photo here, where you get that kind of staggered look. It gives the car kind of a different stance with these wheels. So again, both sets of wheels and tires are included. Getting into the interior, from the information that I've gathered, most of this interior is original. If you were sitting in this car, or when you look at our photos that we have on our website, you will clearly agree the interior of this car is absolutely stunning. It is one of the best original interiors I've ever seen. Again, keep in mind this car has 53,000 miles on it. It's original mileage. So all of this interior is reflective of that. And again, if you think about the two brothers and the story that I said earlier, they wanted to keep this car as pristine as possible. So obviously this interior was really well taken care of. So we get into the headliner here. It's got this really nice rib style original headliner that's absolutely beautiful. The sun visors are in excellent condition. The rear view mirror is in excellent condition. The entire dash is in beautiful condition. It truly looks like it's out of a catalog. The cool thing about the dash, I don't know if some people would think this is cool, I think it's cool, that it has the warp that actually was an issue with these cars from the factory. Inside this binder here, there's actually a service bulletin. It was like a recall that they had with these cars where the dashboards actually had a slight warp to them. The only spot on this dash that actually has the warp is, again, right here underneath the wiper, more toward the center of the dash. You can probably see it in the photos. I thought that was really cool. But all of the gauges in this vehicle are crystal clear. They're all in working order. We just started the car outside. I checked over again all the gauges. Everything works. It's got this rally pack here in the center console. It says AMO AMX 06119 as far as the number on the plaque. The radio in this car was converted to a newer modern radio, but it still looks contemporary. Same thing with the speakers. All that information here is in the binder. These door panels are original. They have this simulated wood that kind of runs down the front here in the shape of kind of an arrow. That wood also matches this original steering wheel. The steering wheel's in beautiful condition. It does have a little crack on it here. It does have a little bit of patina, but it's again in absolutely beautiful condition. Everything in this interior, this shift command center console, the seat belts, again, everything is in absolutely beautiful condition. From, again, the information that I've gathered, the carpeting was replaced, so the carpeting is new. These seats were actually redone, new foam, new covers. I did find a receipt for that, but I believe other than the seats and other than the carpeting, I believe that this entire interior is original. When you see the pictures of it, you are not going to believe the condition of it. It is hands down one of the nicest interiors, original interiors that I've ever had in a classic car. Something that I'm super, super proud of. Again, you'll have to make your own opinion when you see all the photos. The trunk compartment, during the restoration, it was fully restored. It has a factory-style trunk mat back there. It also has a space saver spare tire. It also has the inflator can. I know they put new labels on them, but if I recall when I bought this car back in 2016 before I had sold it, I remember the gentleman that I bought it from, Jim, telling me that that was an original canister. They're extremely hard to find. That just kind of comes to my memory, but you will see how beautiful the trunk compartment is. Getting into the engine bay. Obviously, this is where most of the restoration work was done. When you start to look at probably 90% of the receipts that the second owner had done, besides just doing the body work that I mentioned earlier and some of the exterior trim pieces, a lot of the focus point was actually on the engine bay. So I would say that pretty much everything that's in that engine compartment was definitely restored or replaced. The engine, which is a 390 V8, that motor was never rebuilt. So there's a receipt in here that shows that the engine was refreshed. They did some minor work to it, but there was no need to rebuild the engine with such low mileage. It runs so good. It's got plenty of power. It sounds super good. So again, these cars, the whole engine bay is painted body color. Again, it's absolutely beautiful. It does have the original motors I just mentioned, 390 V8. And again, everything in there is very correct. All the stickers, all the markings, the hoses, the clamps. They even, used a very correct style battery and things like that. So I can't really say enough about the engine compartment. And there's also a little note that I made here so I will remember. This engine has a Group 19 cam in it, and it also has a rare feature, which is a dealer-installed R48 intake with an AMC part number. So it does have a rare intake. It also has, again, that cam. And I know, based on my description when I was writing it, I know that there was something with the air cleaner. They had to use that style air cleaner because of the intake that was on the car versus the original one. So if there's any questions about that, you can check out the description and see what the difference was. The engine does breathe through factory manifolds and into a Flowmaster exhaust system. I was just commenting outside to Corey and Mike when we were out there letting the car warm up how nice it sounds. You'll hear that in a minute when I start it. It's got a real nice throaty sound. The engine is coupled to this 3-speed automatic transmission, which shifts really, really nice. Now, talking about the undercarriage, when this car was at the dealership new, they had it undercoated to prevent any rust. Again, they had intentions of keeping this car for a long time, which they did. So it was all undercoated. During the time that it was at MS Classic Cars, we heavily cleaned it. We repainted over the undercoating to just make it look a little bit nicer. We disassembled, some of the parts as we always do with our cars. We kind of cleaned them up. This car's got power steering. It's got power brakes. We went through all of that. We went through the suspension. Obviously, everything underneath is in super clean condition. So I would say that the undercarriage right now is cleaner than it's ever been on this car, even when the car was being showed. when it made its debut and when it was taken everywhere and had all that press. I will tell you that the car is in the best condition now than it ever has been. So once again, when you have a vehicle that has had this much exposure, Chip Foose, Jay Leno, prestigious Concours D Elegances, it went to the AMC Nationals, it's done everything. So just make sure that you go on our website and you check out all the awards that this car has won, and it will clearly tell you that this car is obviously very special. And again, it's something that I'm super proud of. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car, let you listen to how beautiful it runs. As I just mentioned earlier, we just took the car outside. We literally let it warm up for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, backed it into the showroom. During this video, obviously, it's been sitting here. So I'm going to go ahead and start it and let you listen to how beautiful it runs. Fires right up. Sounds absolutely awesome with this Flowmaster exhaust system. We appreciate you watching. Thank you.